David with Arizona MMC, Arizona's premier medical marijuana certification office. Today I'm out at Dreamy Draw, which is right off the Highway 51. Beautiful mountain range as you drive through here, very scenic, and it makes it much more pleasant when you're stuck in rush hour traffic to see this kind of scenery, behind you. The topic today is the July installation of the Arizona Medical Marijuana Update. I've been doing these updates monthly, and it's very interesting how the level of news continues to go up. Now this month there is some news in Arizona, but a lot of news from around the state, the country, and even some international news that will hopefully affect Arizona beneficially as time goes on. The first topic is the medical marijuana dispensary applications. Dispensary applications were a number of 486 in the 11 days that they accepted them in May. That's a lot, because what happens is out of the 126 areas that have a license up for grabs, so to speak, 27 of them didn't get any applications. So that shrinks it down to 99. Okay, so you have 99, you have 486. Some of those areas got one application. Okay, some of them got like 13 to 16. Very impressive how many actually applied. So what will happen? Well, the Department of Health Services is actively going through these applications. They're helping dispensary applicants fix the mistakes or any deficiencies that are on there. And then what they will do is the ones that are finished go into the fishbowl, so to speak. And it becomes a random choice in August of just one per whatever community health analysis area is under discussion. So if it's Tempe and there's 13, they just pick in, or the balls, like with the lottery, they'll just randomly spit one out, and it'll have a code on it, and that code will belong to one of the dispensary applicants. So they could end up, getting it, or it's a lot of work, that doesn't pan out for anything. One interesting topic with the medical marijuana dispensaries is the number of jobs that it's going to create. If 99 dispensaries come into play over the next year, what you're talking about is anywhere from 5 jobs to maybe 15 to 20, depending on how busy the dispensary is, per location. So let's do an average of 10. 10 times 99, that's 1,000 jobs that will have been created right away from the dispensary program. There's also jobs that got created in the state government. Somebody has to, bless their heart, they have to process the applications, they have to get in touch with the dispensary applicants. When the card renewals and the card applications come in, somebody has to process those. So there's a lot of revenue coming into the state already. They're well into the black, and there will be a lot more. So, Arizona did the right thing by regulating the program. They'll get the fees, they'll get the state taxes, so they'll get a nice influx, just like California gets. It's a $1.3 billion industry in California right now, and it's projected, I've seen a few surveys and studies out there, to grow to about $8 billion over the next 5 years if the current path maintains steadiness. So a lot of jobs being created. The next topic is the new conditions under advisement or by the state, and those are mental health conditions. There's 4 of them, and once a year the program looks at new conditions to be added, and there were 4 this time. Right now they involve PTSD, migraines, depression, and they're going to be looked at over the next month, and in August the decision hopefully will come out, approving or denying all of them. If Arizona approves them all, it'll be the first state to do so. Other states like California, Delaware, they have 1 or 2 mental health conditions, but not 4. So it's exciting to see how that plays out. There is some research to back up each of the conditions. Most studies are not large scale, because with marijuana being a Schedule I narcotic, it's very difficult to do large-scale studies. Hopefully when they reschedule marijuana in the future, those studies will be much more prevalent. The next topic is card statistics. There are over 30,500 card-carrying members now in Arizona. And it's a good number because each month you're seeing 2,000 to 2,500 new cards being administered. It's not 10 to 20,000. It's not a mad rush like the gold rush back in San Francisco. It's a steady increase every month. And the addition to that is that there's a steady increase in the caregivers. The numbers have kind of flattened as far as 83% request to grow, cultivate, 88% get cards for chronic pain, and that's pretty much stayed consistent. It's about 4% for cancer, and a smattering of others. So it's been good to see those sort of stabilize. They're not inconsistent with other states. Additionally, with the statistics, what you can notice is that there was a huge concern that the age range between 18 and 30 was going to have like 90% of the card holders. Well, that didn't happen. It's at 26%. Over 60% are between the ages of 30 and 60. So it wasn't all college and high school age kids going out to, get cards illegitimately. That didn't happen. So that's been gratifying to see. Is the program perfect? No program is perfect. But now you have the card program and you have the dispensary program coming into play. So the law is coming into full effect. But in the state this month, there was a lot of just sort of watching and waiting. So the interesting news came from outside the state. New Hampshire approved medical marijuana. They would have been the 18th state to do so. The governor vetoed it. Again, it happened 3 years ago and it happened 2 weeks ago. So it went back to the Senate and they could have overridden the governor's veto, but they missed it by 3 votes. They needed 16, they only got 13. So New Hampshire medical marijuana failed. Connecticut, on the other hand, passed it June 1st, 2012. They became the 4th New England state to do so. Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Maine. So now you have 4 states in New England, bringing the total overall to 17 states and Washington, D.C. So that was good and bad. Good for Connecticut, not so great for New Hampshire. 2 research studies came out last month, which were very interesting. The first was out of UCLA. It was a government-funded study showing that medical marijuana dispensaries, when they come into play in a neighborhood, do not increase crime rates. Wouldn't you think intuitively that they would? The Los Angeles police chief basically said that it brings a seedy element into the neighborhood. Last year, the RAND Corporation came out with a study showing that it did not increase crime rates in the neighborhood. The city attorney's office went after RAND. They took it off their website within a week. Now a government-funded study is showing the same outcome. This one looked in Sacramento in 2009 when medical marijuana dispensaries shot up. And they showed that the crime rates in the neighborhood did not shoot up exponentially like the number of dispensaries. So the long-held belief is now in limbo that dispensaries increase crime rates. It might be that they don't increase it at all. Another study that came out looked at data between 1993 and 2009, 16 years worth of medical marijuana data. And they wanted to look at teen drug use. So they looked at the Youth Risk Behavior Survey study from those 16 years in 3 states, Oregon, Rhode Island, and Colorado. All 3 states have legal medical marijuana now. None of them had it in '93. So it was a before and after scenario. And what they found is that all 3 states did not see an increase in marijuana usage among teens. In fact, there was a slight, although not statistically significant, a slight decrease in overall usage. So that was gratifying. There's a big concern that when medical marijuana passes in a state, teen drug use goes up. In fact, there was a couple other statistics that came out over the last few months showing that in medical marijuana states, motor fatalities decrease, and so do suicides. So there are some benefits of the legalization that is the opposite of collateral damage, the collateral benefits. Topic to discuss is decriminalization. What is decriminalization? Well, basically what would happen in a state that has decriminalization, such as California, is if a policeman stops somebody and they empty their pockets and they have 15 grams of marijuana, essentially what will happen is they will not be arrested and charged. They may get charged with a civil violation, which is a fine of, a couple $100 or something like that, but there's no misdemeanor and there's no jail time and there's no appearance in court that could lead to jail time. Okay? So, because the theory is that marijuana, when you have it criminalized in these low amounts, is taking away resources from bigger fish. Drug cartels, sex trafficking, human trafficking, harder drugs, things that are a bigger health concern in this country. And it's being seen over and over again. And most Americans feel that way. So 13 states prior to 2 months ago had already decriminalized it. Now, Chicago, the city, decriminalized it last week. The state of Rhode Island decriminalized it. And New York is looking at it. The governor recommended it. He brought a study forward that showed that over 85% of those who are stopped and searched are either African American or Hispanic. So there's some racial bias and profiling that occurs. And that's not right. So they're looking at decriminalizing it in New York. The mayor of New York approves it, Bloomberg, as well as the city police chief. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the next few weeks. New Jersey actually passed decriminalization, and the governor said, no, I'm not going to do that. So it's going to become more and more of an issue, especially what's happening internationally. And last month in Latin America, Colombia decriminalized marijuana and cocaine. If you have under 20 grams in your personal possession, there won't be a criminal in jail, misdemeanor, jail time type of scenario. And that was passed by the Supreme Court in Colombia. Uruguay is trying to do something a little different. What they're trying to do is legalize marijuana outright and then have the government regulate it and sell it. So that's similar to what Virginia does with their alcohol and beverage stores. The ABC stores in Virginia, they control the sale of liquor. So that would be similar to what Uruguay is looking to do. So Guatemala, Argentina, Peru, they're all looking forward to putting forth decriminalization. And Europe's done that a lot as well. Very interesting what's happening internationally, and I think that might have some movement and momentum here in the States, especially with the three that have either done it or considered it in the last month. So there you have it. There's our update. Arizona MMC offers discounted certifications, primaries, and renewals with licensed compassionate doctors who will take a look at your medical records, do the in-person physical examination, and the office at no extra charge will get your medical records, they'll upload the application to the state, they'll take your photo ID. So it's not like there's one fee and then there's add-ons. It's just one fee. So call toll-free today at 855-294-3227. I'm David with Arizona MMC. We'll see you next month. Thank you.